They're not listening to you. They're not listening. I think you should go and ring the bell. Take one of these bells. Take one of these bells. You're all ready. You're all ready. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I thought we'll have some fun in this symposium. So when Nitin and I discussed the organization of this symposium, we said, why not have a quiz bowl? And it brings me fond memories back because in 1978, I held a quiz bowl in IIT Kanpur for chemistry students. And they continued the tradition till 1988, I'm told. And so then it vaporized after that. But I thought this is a good opportunity to have some fun. So before we start having fun, I want to introduce these teams. So you should introduce yourself. Say one sentence about yourself. Say anything crazy you want. The Valiant team will start. I don't know how Valiant will be at the end of the quiz session, but let's start with the Valiant team. Please introduce yourselves.
So hi, Karthik here. From the busway.
Say more.
Just enjoy the session. I think we will have fun here. So let's go forward.
You guys are too serious. Next one.
Hello, this is Nilata. I'm from BSP department. Yeah, yeah. Yes, that's it.
You got to have more imagination than that.
Hello, my name is Jyoti. I am from First department. There is nothing to say.
Hello, my name is Mudit Gupta. I am a RA in Dr. Gupta's labs and to enjoy ourselves and check our knowledge.
And we all valiant.
All right. We now go into second law of thermodynamics. Let's get to team entropy. Please introduce yourselves. Be entropic.
My name is Yash. I'm a fourth year undergraduate, and definitely looking forward to this session. Some with my friends.
Hello everyone, I'm Milan. So I wanted to come to this quiz so get to know how much of the stuffs that I have learned remember, because I will be grading soon. So I'll see how much I remember.
Hello, I am Manish. I am fifth year BTech MTech dual degree, and I'm here for this quiz.
Hello everyone, I'm Akriti.
We can hear you.
I'm a third year PhD student and we are team entropy because we just randomly collected and we like chaos.
Let's hope you don't answer the questions randomly. All right, we have got simple minds coming to a complex issue here. Let's listen to your...
Hello everyone, my name is Ayush Goyal. I am from BSB department, fourth year PhD student in Professor Bushratiq's and Professor Hamim Zafar's lab. And as our team's name suggests, we are simple minds and we are looking to win this contest. Thank you.
Hey, first time.
Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Ananya Sarkar, second year PhD student. So I don't know how the quiz will go, but definitely would create some good memories out here. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jayan Das. I am from PhD second year students in BSV department in Dr. Arjun Ramakrishnan's lab. Let's enjoy the quiz. It's the simple.
Hello, I am Onik Boshak from BSV and I am a very simple person with a very simple mind.
Fantastic. Okay, here's the rules of the game. You can change the thing and then I'll introduce the rules of the game. So number one, I think I need to connect, but then you'll know the rules of the game better. Before I do that, all of you have buzzers. Keep winding them periodically, otherwise you may think you're ringing the bell and nothing will happen. So, right now it works fine. So, right, but keep checking periodically, rewinding it. Right. I don't see it here on my screen.
You need to push up the full screen.
No, I don't want to go to full screen. I don't want to go to that mode.
Yeah, it's fine.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, welcome to the Mehta Family Foundation CEM BSB Quiz Bowl. Am I too loud? Okay. Too loud. Okay. Is it better? Is it better? Okay. All right. So number one, here's the rules of the game. I'm sorry for the team in the middle. You're going to, alien team has to look back and strain your neck a little bit. You can turn your chair around a little bit. We have number of questions will be decided as per Dr. Professor Gupta in terms of 6:45 to 6:50, somewhere around that time we finish. So I hope to get 50 questions, 25 pace in that meantime. So let's figure it out. So we have toss-up questions. I'm going to give you an example, and we have bonus questions. The toss-up question is the one you have 15 seconds after you read the question. You can ring the buzzer. Whichever team rings it first will get the chance to answer. If you answer it correctly, you get the bonus question, and you have 15 seconds to answer. If you don't answer it correctly, the other two teams can ring to answer the toss-up question. They have to answer immediately. There's no time lag. You cannot wait another 15 seconds. Is that clear enough? And then if you don't answer the question, the third team gets it. And if you don't answer the question, third team doesn't answer it, it goes to the audience. The audience is expected to get chocolates in response to successfully answering questions. Okay. Now, if the toss-up question is not answered by any team, the bonus question goes to the audience. It doesn't go to any toss-up team. It goes to the audience. The bonus question is only given to the team that answers the question. Is that rule or the rules clear? Okay. There's no penalty for wrong answers, but you lose your turn immediately. Okay, so that's the rules of the game. Okay, here is a set of examples. I'm going to give one example of this is not a good example because it's more engineering question, but Professor Gupta told me I need to have more life sciences. So I have more life sciences, but nevertheless, I just want to introduce to you what it looks like. We already did the photos of team members. Here's a toss-up question, for example. You don't need to answer it. What is thermal radiation? So you'll have 15 seconds to answer it, and then I'll pop up the answer even if you answer it to tell you what it is. It's radiation is the energy emitted by matter that's at a finite temperature. Imagine a team answers that question. Then you get the bonus question. What is the equation for the rate of heat transfer per unit area through conduction? You have 4 choices. You have to answer A, B, C, D. You get 15 seconds. You can consult amongst your team during the time period all the time. And then if you answer this question, you get 20 bonus points. It's 30 and 20. You got that right, number right. And then we go to, this is the modality by which, and this is the answer, rate of transfer is directly proportional to temperature gradient, inversely to path length. The answer is A. Okay, I'll highlight the answer in each case. Sometimes I'll provide you some explanation. There are a lot of fun questions here. This is just a bad question to tell you how bad it can be. So we have some fun questions. All right, any questions at this time from you, the teams? Are you clear?
A little more confusion about the bonus question.
So, okay, the toss-up question, whichever team answers the toss-up question gets the bonus question. It is not passed to any other team. It's really a bonus.
Okay. And what if the same team does not answer the bonus question?
The audience gets the bonus question.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
The audience is the ultimate arbiter. Right? I have answers to all the questions, but in turn, you have the right to contest that the answer is wrong, in which case Professor Gupta will decide whether I'm right or not. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll figure it out. All right. Any other questions? Thou shalt speak or stay silent forever. Okay? Are we ready? Okay, question number 1. Oh, he wants some water, so let me wait till he gets some water. Otherwise, he will say that we are depriving him of ability to answer. No, I'm joking. I have it. No, give it to me here. The teams want water. Are you ready? Question number 1. 15 seconds to answer. What is the difference between paralogous genes and orthologous genes? Okay.
We have 15 seconds.
Use your mic.
Hello. Paralogs from same species, ortholog from different species. The genes actually.
Okay, I'll accept that. It is a little bit slightly on the vague side. They are copies of genes that are in the same organism or have the same function. Orthologous genes are genes shared by 2 different organisms, derived from a common ancestor. That's the correct answer. But I'll give you because it's the first question, I'm going to give it to you. Next time you do a partial answer, you get 0. Okay. Here's a bonus question to the team that answered the question. If you wanted to find genes in a genome list that are similar to the ones you're interested in, which 2? No, you don't need to ring the bell.
Blast.
The answer is wrong. The audience? Wrong. You have 1 in 50%. You have 50% chance of getting it right. You'd use FASTA. This is a tool that's used for finding common sequences.
But blast was also. I think the blast was also the correct answer.
BLAST doesn't do the alignment of the sequence. FASTA does the sequence alignment, which is the reason why FASTA is the sequence.
But I'm sorry, but the question does not specify that alignment is also needed.
Judge. Let's give them the bonus.
We gave them the benefit of doubt in the first
Okay. Sorry, judge has spoken.
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you, judge. Question number 2. Rigor mortis is the gradual stiffness of skeletal muscles that begins after death when cells can no longer produce what chemical compound? Who rang the bell first?
Lactic acid.
Wrong.
Calcium carbonate.
Wrong. Time's up. You can't answer. Audience. 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 ATP. Chocolate for the. It's ATP. Okay. Question number 3. I'm sorry, the bonus question goes to the audience because nobody else answered. The bonus question is, in the sliding filament mechanism of muscle contraction, which 2 portions of the sarcomere are solely reduced? A band, I band, edge zone, A band, edge zone, and there's a person who's wanting to answer. Go ahead. Wrong. Wrong. You only 1 in 2 chance. Okay, who said B? The answer is B. I band and edge zone. Okay, next question now open to all of you. Please observe. What's the name of the specialized nerve ending that responds to painful stimuli? Okay. Time's up. Okay. Any other team wants to answer that? No, the answer is wrong. Sciatic, you said. The answer is wrong. Time's up. Audience. Nociceptors. Nociceptors is the right answer. So you're getting a lot of questions. Do you have an iPhone that you're searching Google or something? Okay. Here's a toss-up question for the audience. Dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine are examples of catecholamines. No, it's for the audience. From which amino acid are they derived? Answer is C, tyrosine. You got it. You're going to eat all those chocolates? Okay. The question is now open to the teams. Please watch. What's the sum of stimulus to a muscle that results in prolonged contraction of skeletal muscle fibers called? Okay.
Depolarization.
Wrong.
Can I try again?
Okay, time's up. Audience. Audience is winning by a large margin. Yeah. No. Okay, I'm going to give the answer. Tetanus. It's called tetanus. Okay, the bonus question is to the audience, and we can skip it maybe because it's more complicated, more engineering oriented, but everybody knows the answer. Calibration of a force transducer can give a conversion factor that allows one to interchange between dash and dash. I'm going to give you the answer. It's between voltage and force. Okay, the next question goes to the teams. Very simple question, so I hope you get this right. What does Avogadro's law state? Do you know who rang the bell first? Okay.
Hello. Sorry. So the Avogadro's law states that in any matter, the number of particles are constant, and those are equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23.
The answer is wrong.
Okay.
In 1 mole of anything,
Oh,
there will be 6.026 into 10 to the power
23.
6.
6.02 into 10 to the power 23.
Okay, so I'm going to accept that answer. The correct answer is, it says the relationship between masses of the same volume of different gases corresponds to the relationship between the respective molecular weights, which is really different slightly, but it still adds up to the number. So I'm going to give you a benefit of doubt. Here's the bonus question for you. If a radioisotope has a half-life of 2 million years, and you determine that the rock has only 1 by 1/28 of the amount of radioisotope in it, when was the rock formed and how many million years ago? Is the time up? Or
14.
14 is the correct answer. 14 is the right answer. It's each 2 million years you have to the power 7 is your half-life, is half to the power 7. 1 over 128 is 7 times, to the power 40, 2 times to the power 14. Okay, next question is for all the teams. When its plasma levels are increased, which molecules binds to beta adrenergic receptors causes vasodilation?
epinephrine.
You want to qualify?
I was actually always confused between epinephrine and non-epinephrine, but I presume
I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt. Okay, it is not epinephrine. Epinephrine and not epinephrine. Okay, good. I'll accept your answer. The next question is, which of the following, it is for your team, which of the following would not affect the stroke volume of the heart? Activity of the parasympathetic nerves to the heart, activity of the sympathetic nerves to the heart, increase of plasma epinephrine, increase of venous pressure.
sympathetic activity of the sympathetic nerves to the heart.
A, B, C, or D?
B.
The answer is wrong. Yeah. A is correct. It's A.
Again, there was confusion between.
No, it's activity of the parasympathetic nerves. We can't hold your confusion forever. Okay, next question goes to all the teams. In prokaryotic organisms, genes in the same pathway are often found to occur contiguously in the genome. What's the unit of this genome called? Operon is the correct answer. So the team gets on board. So give them benefit, 30 points. Here's your bonus question. Oxidation of NADH molecule in mitochondria can pump X proteins across the inner membrane.
Uh, 15.
Wrong. Okay, the audience gets 10 is the correct answer. It's 10. Chocolates in the back. Okay, next question goes to all of you. How many bits are there in a byte? Okay.
8.
8 is the correct answer. 8 is the right answer. Okay. Follow-up question. When adding binary numbers, what is 1 plus 1 equal to? No, it's yours. It's yours.
It's 2, 1, 0. D.
1, 0 is correct. So more bonus, more points to. It's not the Valiant team. It's the entropy team. Okay. All right. Adding two values produces the value 1, 0, which is what it is. Next question. What does ECG measure?
It measures the heart activity. Electrical conductivity. What you want more?
Be precise.
Okay. Time's up. Okay. Electrical conductivity of the heart.
Okay. You're the next ones who rang the bell.
It measures the QRS potential of the heart.
Okay, I'm going to accept this answer. It's the amplified recording of electrical potentials that are generated by the heart over time. I think the over time part is very important. Okay, here's the toss-up question, bonus question for you. In ECG, the QRS complex characterizes what phenomenon in the heart?
Depolarization of the ventricles.
Depolarization of the ventricles is correct. And in fact, its duration, amplitude, and morphology is useful in diagnosing cardiac disease states.
I would like to thank Ubad.
Okay, all right. Next question to all. Rajesh and Nitya are both heterozygous carriers of rare autosomal recessive mutation called gulab jamun fingers. They have 2 children. What is the probability that both children are affected with this devastating disease? What is the probability? They answered, I think. Okay. Okay, the answer is wrong. No, they were the second, I thought. Yeah. Yeah.
One by.
Wrong. Okay, the teams did not get it, so it goes to the audience. 1 by 16th is correct. In fact, it's 1 over 16. You know,
Too hard, the norm has gone in. Okay, so I think.
Raise your hand.
Buzzing, you can shout in the mic or raise your hand.
Don't shout in the mic. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay, next question. The bonus question goes to the audience. Rajesh Mishra really wanted to name his firstborn Virat Kohli Mishra and hopes that he'll be a star batsman for India. What is the probability that his firstborn is a boy not affected by the recessive mutation of gulab jamun fingers? Three by 8 is correct. The probability of being firstborn is 1/2, and the probability of the child not being affected is 3/4, and so that's 3 over 8, the product of those two. Excellent. Next question. What is the integral of the Dirac delta function from -infinity to +infinity?
1.
1 is correct. Here's a bonus question for you. What sorts of functions are represented by the Dirac delta function?
Step function.
The answer is wrong. So, audience, impulse function. Step function is not a delta function. I mean, it's a mathematically an impulse function represents an infinitely short peak, one peak, with an area of unity in physical problems. Question goes to all of you. Who won the Nobel Prize for gene editing in cells?
for CRISPR-Cas9 editing, gene editing. It was won by Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna.
Exactly correct. Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna won the prize. In fact, for development of a method for genome editing, it's a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2020. Next question. What does CRISPR stand for? It's only to you.
D.
D is correct. It stands for clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic regions. It comes from the hallmark bacterial defense system, which forms a CRISPR-Cas9 genome editing technology. Next question goes to all of you. If the length and diameter of a wire of circular cross-section are both doubled, what happens to the resistance of the wire? Who rang the bell?
It is doubled, right, to 2 by 4. 1/2 the resistance becomes.
It's halved. That's correct. It's halved. Good reasoning. Next question. Two conductors are joined. This is to your team. Two conductors, simple-minded team. Two conductors are joined by long copper wire. What happens as a result? Fifteen seconds is up. Time's up. Audience. C. You got it right, C. So each conductor must be at the same potential. Okay, all right. Next question goes to all of you. How many ATP molecules are created? I think it's this team that. Who rang the bell?
Two ATP molecules.
Okay, the answer is correct. It's 2 ATP molecules. It's actually 4 are produced, but 2 are consumed. So it's 2 ATP molecules. Which of the following enzymes does not participate in a reversible reaction in glycolysis? Only one of them. All 3 other participate in the reversible reaction.
Phosphoglycerate mutase, D.
The answer is wrong. Audience? That's correct. Phosphofructokinase converts fructose 6-phosphate into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Is not reversible. Next question is the simplest question I can think of. What's the name of this common protein secondary structure?
Beta sheets.
Okay, it's beta sheet. The answer is correct. You get bonus points for honesty and for, we'll give them some bonus points at the end for. Okay. All right. Which of the following exotic names is not the name of a structural motif involving beta sheets? Greek key, beta blades, jelly roll, beta propellers.
Beta blades. We're going with beta blades. Okay. Beta blades.
No. Sorry?
Beta blades.
Beta blades is correct. In fact, they are not a structural motif. Okay, I'm told that the audience is whispering too loudly, so they're getting the answers. So therefore, please resist till they finish the question. Next question. Name the amino acid that is achiral. What should we do? Okay, we should skip this question. Let's skip this question. So glycine, I'm going to skip this question also. Okay, raising your hands. Okay. Okay, we're not going, nobody's going to answer this question. So this is just a bonus question that we decided not to do. Okay. Metal electrodes or act as what sort of filters? Yeah. This team raised the entropy. Team entropy raised their hand. Time's up. Any other team? Audience? High pass filter. Whoever said that gets a chocolate. It's called the high pass filter. Okay, next question. Also a tough question. Bonus question to the audience. The following circuit is a simplified analogous circuit for the following. Which are the following? Intravascular pressure transducer, extravascular pressure transducer, resistive transducer, device for measuring how smart you are. Say again. Did I hear D or B? B. B is correct. In fact, it is represents V in represents the blood pressure, V out represents the blood pressure at the strain gauge end of the catheter, and so LC represents the internal fluid flow, RC represents the resistance, and CD represents the compliance of the strain gauge diagram. Since you're doing engineering, I thought it would be good to know how you can translate it into a model, electrical model. Next question. When an ice cube floating in a glass of water melts, what happens to the water level? Team entropy.
Decreases.
Answer is wrong. It does not change. In fact, it stays the same. It doesn't change. Here's a toss-up question, here's a bonus question for you. Consider a brick that's totally immersed in water. The long edge of the brick is vertical. What's the pressure? What is the pressure on the brick? Where is it highest? That's the question, really. Is it same, high, low? That's what it is. Greatest at the bottom, greatest at the side. Audience. A is correct. In fact, greatest at the bottom of the brick. He gets the chocolate himself. How many bones are there in the human body? The middle team. 206 is correct. Here's your bonus question. The hip joint is most analogous to which of the following joints? The pivot joint, hinge joint, ball and socket joint, open joint. Answer is wrong. Audience. Ball and socket joint. The hip joint is similar to ball and socket joint, allowing free range of movements of the leg. Chocolate, more chocolates to you. Okay, next question to everybody. How are two vectors related to each other if the dot product of these two vectors is equal to 0? The judge. The judge has been observing.
They're perpendicular.
Judge.
Perpendicular.
Answer is, well, be precise. When you're talking about vectors.
They are perpendicular to each other at 90 degrees. The angle between them is 90 degrees.
Three-dimensional space, they are perpendicular to.
I'm not going to accept that answer in algebra speak. You're talking about vectors. So, time's up. The middle team, I think.
Orthogonal.
Okay, the answer is wrong. You've got a last chance. Speak up now or stay silent.
The cosine of the angle between them would be 0. 90, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to ask the audience. Orthogonal is the answer. And you could say, of course, everything that I said was not wrong, but it's not the right use of words. You've got to be precise. Here's the toss-up question, and I don't expect anybody here to answer it because it's not answered by anyone here. So M and N matrix, M by N matrix, where M is unequal to N is invertible if determinant of the matrix equals 0, column of the matrix are linearly independent, matrix is not 2-row equivalent of the matrix, or the matrix is not invertible. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, nobody answered correctly.
B.
The answer is D, the matrix is not invertible. Next question. How many nitrogen atoms are in 1 mole of nitrogen gas? The middle team. The middle team. I saw the hands raised. Okay. Wrong.
2 times into
2 times 6.023 into 10 to the 23 is the atoms. No, I think they did before. Yeah. Okay, here's what temperature do all perfectly ordered substances have the same entropy? Team entropy cannot get it, unfortunately. So 0 degrees Kelvin is correct. That's the right answer. What was Alfred Nobel's famous invention? Dynamite is correct. In fact, he's best known for his invention of dynamite and a device called blasting cap. And in fact, that's what gave Nobel Prizes. The next question is a fun question for you guys. The German invasion of Russia, the famous Barbarossa War, failed miserably. What caused its failure? Use of napalm bombs by Russia, development of nitrogen-based gunpowder, thermodynamics, or E. coli infection?
E. coli infection. Because that's the most fun answer I could think of.
Okay, did you answer?
E. coli infection.
Wrong. Audience. Thermodynamics. In fact, thermodynamics is responsible because of the following. So they had used tin in all their dresses, and tin undergoes a phase transition and crumbles at less than 13 degrees. So when the temperature went down, when the winter came, they lost their pants. And so as a consequence, they couldn't continue. This is not a joke. This is really recorded historically. They lost their dresses. As a consequence, they just retreated and they lost miserably. So it's thermodynamics that was responsible for not knowing thermodynamics can hurt you. Okay, back to the teams. What is the first organism whose genome was sequenced? The middle team. Wrong. What is the organism?
What?
Wrong. Team in the back. Wrong. Wrong. Audience. Wrong. No. No. I'm very surprised that the very first organism was Haemophilus influenza. It's 1995. That is the first genome that was sequenced. Nothing else was sequenced before. And here's a bonus question. How many chromosomes are there in the Zea mays, which is corn? How many chromosomes are there? 20 is correct. 20 is the right number. 46 is human, 8 is fly, 1 is E. coli, 20 is corn. Next question. In statistical testing, what does p-value represent?
Significance. Significance. Significance.
Can you be precise?
I mean, when you compare the two data sets and you wanna see if the change in
Acceptance or rejectance of null hypothesis.
No.
So p-value is, I guess people will judge me for this answer, but the p-value is if we are testing, let's say there are 100 samples, and what is the chance of...
Be precise. It's one single terminology that helps you.
Okay.
Yeah, middle team.
One single terminology.
Okay, audience. You got it. Probability of rejecting the null hypothesis incorrectly. You didn't, no, but you didn't say probability. It's a probability P. That's really the key here. And so here's the bonus question, which is not an assumption of ANOVA. Audience. It's an audience question. I'm sorry, it's A. Each sample must be independent. Okay, the very last question. How much time do we have, Nitin? It's the last question. Is that okay? How are they doing on scores? Let's figure out. If they're close, then we can try to make it more than one. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you two questions. First question. Identify this molecule. The middle team already raised their hand. Be precise. Be precise, because you look at the structure there. I've got all these different lines types. Dotted lines, and why did I put all those dotted lines and thick lines and all those? Okay. Wrong. L-asparagine is correct. In fact, it's L-asparagine, but I don't accept asparagine because it's L. I put all those lines specifically to get you the stereochemistry right. Okay, this is a question for the audience. No, for you guys. What does ELISA stand for? B is correct. It's enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Okay, the very last question for the tournament here. DNA gel electrophoresis separates DNA based on size using the negative charge to force the molecules through the gel in STS page. What allows I think the team, yeah, the team simple-minded.
HDS gives the protein negative charge.
What does STS stand for?
Sodium dodecyl sulfate.
Okay, sodium dodecyl sulfate denatures the protein and coats it with negative charge. So you got it right. Okay, here's the last bonus question for you. 2D gels separate proteins on the basis of what two properties?
Isoelectric point and molecular weight.
The answer is D. Proteins are separated in one dimension called isoelectric focusing. And in fact, they are then run on a polyacrylamide gel. That's the whole idea of the charge, right? Okay. So I think we are running at the end of the team. So who's leading and what's the team score like? Yeah, we should do that. If they're tied, then I have to go at least one more question. Oh, you want to announce the winners tomorrow? But if they're tied, we have a problem. Now I'm saying if they're tied, then we will have to break the tie. Unless you want to declare them both winners. I think I made it tougher than usual. So, I mean, everybody seems to have gotten a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. Next time we'll make it easier. You have a tie? You have a clear winner. Okay. We have a clear winner, so therefore I'm not going to continue this. Thank you guys for participating. I hope the audience had fun. And so
Hi everyone. So this was a fun event, and now we are going to have a very We are going to have an interaction session, a conversation with Shri Rahul Mehta in a more informal style that will be conducted by Ayush, one of our student volunteers. So just please get settled, and in a minute or so we'll start. Right. Now I request Shri Rahul Mehta to please come up. Student volunteers, can we get 2 mics here, please?
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and privilege for me and all of us to host Mr. Rahul Mehta and the Mehta family here at the inauguration ceremony of Mehta Family Centre for Engineering in Medicine at IIT Kanpur. So we are going to have an informal interactive session with Mr. Rahul Mehta, and I am sure, just like me, many of us have many questions as to how Mr. Rahul Mehta and the family has been able to generously contribute to many social causes as such, internationally as well as in India. And I thank Mr. Rahul Mehta for kindly agreeing for this interactive session. We call this 101 with Rahul Mehta, where we'll be talking about 101 a lesson 101 about entrepreneurship and philanthropy, and we'll be talking about what was his journey while embarking these feat achievements that he has already achieved. So I'll just briefly tell you about Mr. Mehta to give you a background about from where does he come and how his journey has been. So Mr. Rahul Mehta founded the Mehta Family Foundation 20 years ago with a vision to advance initiatives in education and healthcare, and he has been organizing his organization has been supporting worldwide initiatives in improving quality of life, and the foundation has founded more than 100 international organizations to promote social goods like education and healthcare. Some of the foundation's projects are including the Bhupat and Jyoti Mehta School of Biosciences at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, the Mehta Family School of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence at IIT Guwahati, and now the MFCEM building at IIT Kanpur. Other than this, there are some international collaborations in the Interdisciplinary Engineering Research Center and Graduate College of Social Work at the University of Houston in United States. So with all that, let's join me in welcoming Mr. Rahul Mehta for this session 101 with Rahul Mehta. I'll just start the discussion with a question, with going right to the basics. How was his childhood, and what all things made him curious about research, not exactly research, but education and healthcare.
I'm Shushmita from Bushra Ma'am's lab. So,
oh, you're from Bushra's lab?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we are here to start the 101 session. Okay. So, am I audible? So, I would like to ask you,
yeah,
like, if you can share with us the inspiration behind establishing the MFCEM in collaboration with IIT Kanpur.
Sure.
And what was the motivation behind focusing on the intersection of this engineering and medicine?
Okay. So first of all, well, thank you all. You know, I know that this session is between us and your dinner. So I can already see half the audience left because I think they're already ready for the dinner. Okay. Or the quiz bowl was far more interesting than this lecture. So I don't know which one it was. Okay. But I think to me, the goal is how do we make it more interactive? So I think that, please feel free to ask any questions you have also. So where do you want me to start? You want me to start with your question? You want me to start with your question?
I guess we can start with the childhood thing, and then you can lead us to how it led to the MFCM
Okay.
idea.
So I was, I was born in Bombay, India, and again, my parents, really didn't have education. They probably, again, you have to think back in the post-independence 1960s. My father was, essentially was an orphan. His mom died back in when he was about 6 months old, and my mom's father died when she was about 3 years old. So again, you can think back from that perspective of back in the 1945, 47, right? Now think about that, right? At those particular times India didn't even have an economy. People were actually starving. There was a lot of difficulties, and my dad and my mom, essentially my dad left the orphanage when he was 17 and decided to come to Bombay because that was the only way to actually feed yourself, right? That's there was no jobs, there was nothing in the small towns of Gujarat. My mom was a single mother, and they had to leave Gujarat because during that time, if you lost your husband, or in my mom's case, her father, and the family used to ask, basically they asked my grandmother to leave because she would be a burden on the family. So now here is my mom and my grandmother. They both are roaming around Gujarat and finally find their way to Bombay. And once they came to Bombay, they met accidentally, and then so in some ways our childhood was very normal in a way. A lot of struggle. Like a lot of many of you probably don't even know, probably don't even realize that time India didn't even have sufficient food to eat. So I'm just going to give you an example, right? At that particular point in time, you had to stand in ration lines to get 2 kilograms of kg and 1 kilograms of rice. And, and I still remember in my childhood that I went there. I was not a very brilliant student by any means. I mean, I really didn't enjoy studying. I did everything else except studying, right? So, and then at the age of 17, I told my dad that I wanted to go to America. A couple of people had left, and so that was like a great way to dream about things. And so I go to my dad and I said, hey, can I go to America? And my dad says, sure, go ahead and figure it out. He didn't know what it meant. He didn't understand the cost structure of what it would cost me to send to America. And, I figured out many different things, how to apply to a US education system. At that time, we didn't have internet. So I used to go to Bombay every day, go to a place called UCSD, which is the United States Library Service. You go there, you open up the catalogs, you read the back of the catalogs, you figure out something or the other. Who knows what ultimately get the address, and I must have written to, a bunch of places. And then I started receiving my I-20. So I said, wow, I must be good enough to get an I-20. And that started my journey. I was rejected for my visa 4 times or 3 times. And on the 4th attempt, my dad came with me. He says, and the visa officer asked my dad, are you sure you want to send this 17-year-old kid? And my dad said, sure, I do want to send him. And that started my journey. And that's how I came to America. I thought I was going to do chemical engineering. That's what I started out as my major, as a chemical engineering major. But the first night I landed on campus, somebody showed me computers. and I loved computers, and that changed my life. And so that's my, that's how I started life. Am I answering you?
Yes, yes. Pretty much elaborate answer. And then the follow-up question would be, you also invested your time in technology industry, right?
Yeah.
So what was your experience in that? And why did you then choose to give those career options up and then choose something else?
Okay. So straight out of school, I haven't worked for anybody. I started a class project that I was doing in my senior year, and I converted that class project. Actually, I went to the first International Oracle Users Conference, and I wrote a paper just like you would write as like any other senior. And, everybody started asking me at the conference, when can we have this as a product? I didn't even have a dream of starting a company. So I was stupid, right? I mean, I came back. I told everybody, call me if you want, right? Instead of getting their numbers, I said, call me. And one particular person, I still remember everybody's name. So Tony Amreso from Siba Gaigi, he called me and he says, Rahul, we need your product. Absolutely. I said, okay. And so I took my class project and converted it into a product, and gave him this thing, and that's how it started the company. And slowly by slowly, right? I mean, if you look at my first year, I made $2,500, and that's not, in some ways you can say that's not even sufficient to make a living. I probably made more. I would have made more money working at McDonald's house, McDonald's, right, flipping burgers. But just something just keeps you going, right? And so second year, I made a little more money, but then by the third year, I was very well set. And actually, my initial dream was only to make enough money every year than what my classmates were making working for somebody else. I really didn't have any other dream. I was very simple. Can I make more money? If I was going to work for somebody and I was going to make $25,000, then can I make $25,000? And that's all my dream was. But ultimately, slowly by slowly, things get, I made more and more sales, and I started hiring more and more employees and more customers, and the cycle started. And once that cycle started, I never looked back. And so I went on to build 4 different companies, one after the other. The first one was clearly hardest because you don't have the money. The second one is actually harder, more harder in some ways, because once you build the first one, there's a lot of pressure on you, and both internal pressure as well as external pressure. The internal pressure is the first one of look, or do you have skill? The external pressure also is that, right, if you fail, are you going to be able to live with yourself, right? And so what you will find that most people in life are so afraid of failure that they will never do a second company. Okay, they want to live their life with the first company being a success, and that's what they will end up at. And I tell a lot of people that if I had not, if any of my companies had failed, chances are I wouldn't be sitting here. And so that's the kind of journey that it takes, and that's what I did. So, and that's when, and I started my foundation after the first one. I whatever I made in the first company, I created a foundation, and that was the basis of my my journey. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, when you decided to start this entrepreneur journey, what triggered you and what was the passion behind it?
Like I told you, at the end of the day, when I was in school, again 20, 21 years old, I in some ways, like I said, my original goal was I just wanted to make more money than my classmates did. And, I really, in some way I was, you can call it as a goofy kid, right? I mean, I loved working at the computing center. And I really never thought I would ever leave the computing center at, where I worked. But then one day I left and I started this journey and I never went back ever. So, I mean, so in some ways you can say I was very motivated. Once I started my own company, the motivation, I was very motivated. The first company, I probably worked day and night for 10 years, and I didn't know what a day meant or what a night meant. But that was joy, just total joy.
Right. So I'd like to ask, at an age where most of us think of retiring, you decided to join an MBA program at Stanford. So what was the motivation behind that, and what message would you like to convey to all of us that regarding that it's never too late?
Oh, well, first of all, let me just clarify. It's not an MBA program. It's I went to Stanford last year in 2022, and it's a unique program called DCI. But I think your answer is, the question is still valid, right? Why did I go back to Stanford and be a student again? I think one of the things that I feel is that everybody, for me personally, I feel like I want to be a lifelong student. I love learning. I've taken very interesting courses at Stanford. I have gone and I've taken classes on climate, society, international relationship, political economy. I can go on and on, global health. And sometimes I think that how ignorant I was had I not gone to Stanford. So I think by going to school back again, I think it has given me a new perspective in life. And I highly recommend anybody to get a chance. I think one of the things that I feel like is the education system actually only says that, the world has created this education system where it says you have to go finish your high school, then you go finish your BTech, then you go finish maybe MTech. But I think the real value of education is actually what you do after that, and how do you fundamentally constantly challenge yourself to learn new things. It doesn't have to be a formal education. It can be courses online. It can be courses offline. Today, there's just so many things that you can learn online, even without a cost. I think they are fun,
Right. So as I was speaking to you, that there was a security guard, and I think majority of us, they have this curiosity question that as to what was the motivation behind this philanthropy work that you have started and helping the education system as well as the healthcare system. And other than that, there are other collaborative institutes in various international institutions as well. So we are curious to know if in case we want to trace onto the same path, what should be the approach being a student? Or just follow up additional question to that. Do you think this entrepreneurship, this is something which is innate, or can we actively start developing it from the stage that we are on right now?
I think everybody has a capacity to be an entrepreneur. I don't think it's innate. I think you just, ask yourself the question: how much hard work did you do? Are you doing your BTech here or
PhD?
Huh?
PhD.
Oh, you're doing your PhD. Okay. If you're doing your PhD here, you have to apply for some exams.
Right.
How much hard work did you have to do to apply for your exams?
Oh, to clear the exam?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So why did you do it?
Because I was pretty much passionate about doing PhD.
Okay. So you have this inbuilt motivation, right, to do your PhD.
Right.
I think entrepreneurship is the same way. Right. I think, if you ask me to do a PhD, there's just no way. I would never take the time to study for those exams, right? Because that's not what motivates me. So I think we all have our different motivations. I think the key in life is to figure out what is your passion, right? How do you understand your passion? What motivates you? What drives you? And if you do it right, then I think you'll be very successful, whatever you do.
and how this philanthropy has changed your perspective about life and in general society.
The I think different answers to your question. Let's take, how do you help others?
Okay, being at this stage of my life, I actually want to offer whatever kind of scientific inputs or physical inputs in the sense if somebody needs something from me as a favor, I try to give them back as much as I can.
Right. Now, why do you do that?
It gives me a sense of joy.
It gives you a sense of joy.
Or accomplishment.
Accomplishment. Okay. You want to chime in?
Like similarly, like I love if people are asking me questions. It makes me curious. Oh, I don't know this. I should study. Like it builds a curiosity like itself on me that I should know this because this is something interesting.
Okay.
And then if I find the answer, that gives a sense of joy, you can say, or an this is the thing that I was unaware of.
Sure. Okay, so I mean, is it when you're helping others or when you're doing it on your
Like it's both the ways, I think.
Okay.
Like explaining them because I know something and I'm sharing that, and even knowing what I don't know.
Okay. Right. So I think if you think about life, I think all of us are innately born to help other people. Right. I mean, philanthropy to me is the best use of your time, talent, and treasure to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. That is philanthropy. The basic definition of philanthropy is how do you use your time, talent, and treasure, right, to make a difference in the world. Whether you make a difference in the life of one individual or hundreds, whether you give them 10 minutes of your time to whether you dedicate your life, they're all part of your journey. I think you just, and every person will come at a different stage in your life and you will do different things. Provided that's what you carry, that value within you, that's what you want to do. I think ultimately it becomes a values issue. Okay. I think a lot of times people forget when they start making money or they start doing other things in life, and the notion of value of trying to do things for the others. Right? You have family, you start having obligations, you tend to forget what is the most important thing. I think so to me, I think the question is if you hold your value, you will be doing a lot of good things for the others in life.
So we as students, we obviously there are undergrads as well in the audience, and we find it difficult to make career options, career path choices. So what will be your advices for the young minds in order to make a bright career out of whatever platform that we are right now
on? I think career is, first of all, one thing that I think you have to ask yourself is what is the definition of a career, right? Is it a career definition that your parents have given you? Is it what the society has given you? All right. I think to me the real challenge in life is to know yourself better, to know why you are doing certain things and what is your main function. Okay. Because I think I meet so many interesting people in life, right? So many people have this traditional notion that the career is, let's say you are a computer science major in this country, your traditional notion is I'll graduate with a BTech in computer science, whatever it is, and I'm going to go work for Google and Microsoft because I'm going to get a high pay package, right? In that case, their motivation is money because all they're looking for is a salary. Clearly, they are motivated and passionate with computer science also, but the goal is ultimately they want to focus on the money. I think, on the other hand, I met a lot of interesting people who have done their PhDs and they are saying, I want to go start a non-profit because that's what motivates them. So I think to me the challenge is how do you fundamentally understand what is going to motivate you in life, and can you be true to yourself? Then I think your career choices will become very easy.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
From
I think-
audience, we can take questions if you have it to ask.
Hi, I'm Ashish, and my question to you is like during your entrepreneurship journey, what was the lowest time that you faced, and how you overcome it?
So I think first of all, I'm not sure that I remember one particular low point because there were many low points. Okay, I think the thing I think that takes you right. The key part of life is that you're gonna have a lot of disappointments, but also the more important part is what is your goal. If you understand your goal correctly, all the disappointments will no longer be so. The disappointments are temporary in nature. You'll always have the sunny side. You always have to remember the sun will always shine, right? I think there's so many times, for example, in my life where I didn't know where I was going to make the payroll. I used to have a time when I needed to make a $500,000 to $1 million payroll. And you look at your bank balance and you say, shoot, how am I going to make the people? So your choices, right? I can lay off people and I can say, I'm not going to pay you. I don't have the job money for you. Or you work hard and you go try to find customers so that you can get the revenues. There are so many times when I have no idea where I kept my car. I would go on Monday morning, take a flight, go all around the country, visit customers, and Friday evening when I came back, I had no idea where I'd parked my car in the parking lot. Okay. But, was that a low point or was that a high point? Well, in hindsight, I look at back and I said it was a high point. I worked hard and customers rewarded me. And I was not, one thing I'm very proud in my life is I never had to tell anybody lay off. I never had to tell anybody that I don't have money for you. In even that commitment I have to my employees, I think as a result, I had great employees, and I can't be more, those are the kind of things you have to do to, I think to make yourself successful.
Okay. Talking about success, what actually is the definition of success to you, and what do you feel is still left to be accomplished?
What is to be accomplished? I mean, there's so many things to. You can think about your life in many different dimensions, right? One is your personal dimension, one is your financial dimension, one is your spiritual dimension, one is your emotional dimension, your self growth. I think if you were to really think, a better way to, if I were to give you any advice, would be, maintain a diary, think about it at the beginning of the year, write down your goals in all these different dimensions, and say, well, how am I going to make any progress in any one of those dimensions? Or which dimension I'm not making any progress, right? And if you can kind of analyze it and do a self-reflection, you will actually do a lot, you'll achieve many things on your own because it gives you the ability to self-reflect on what you want to achieve. Okay. What is more important to you? What was the other question?
The other question was what success means to you.
Clearly, success is not about money at any case, right? Success is more about a sense of satisfaction, sense of a joy that you are doing making the best out of the life that God has given you. So what is your potential? Are you really achieving your potential, or are you not going to achieve your potential, right? And these are some of the definitions I would say that one should look at success from. Yeah.
Curious to know, you chose the area of computer science, and that was your passion. You had 4 companies that you had in the same area. But when you moved to philanthropy, you chose to support the cause of education and healthcare, and more so in India. How did that decision come about?
Two ways. What I believe is that countries that do well in science generate economic prosperity. So again, I think if you look at theory from a historical perspective, why did the English or the British rule the world? Right, because they invented guns, they invented the navigations, they went around the world. Why is America today so successful? Because of all the innovations that come in technology. I think to me, one of the things that I strongly believe in is how do we help generate the economic prosperity in India, right? What is the best way to do that, right? I mean, the classic question I ask myself is I can give money to IITs, I can give money to and create whatever it is to 10 orphanages, right? What is the right answer, right? And what is going to be good for the nation in the long run? And I've spoken to a lot of people, but internally, I believe that the best way is to actually help India in the long run is through higher education. Once I chose that, then I think the second part was what to do in higher education. I think when I funded the first school of bioscience, in my speech I said, I think that India has done very well in IT. It created companies like Infosys and other places. But if I were to look at the next 50 years, I think healthcare is where all the innovation has to occur. I think a country like India has to figure out, for example, how to provide healthcare at a lower cost than any of the places in the world. We have a larger audience. We have different problems than the West. And I think to me, technology and innovation places like IITs are going to have to be at the forefront of leading this change that will help India achieve both economic prosperity and provide better healthcare for its citizens.
That's it.
Hello, sir. My name is Priyanshu. I actually wanted to ask you a follow-up question on your answer. So, what does it mean to make progress on your spiritual journey, and what has been the spiritual journey for you yourself?
Well, I think my one simple definition of spiritual journey is what percentage of the time you're spending, how do you make a better difference in the lives of others, right? The challenge is how are you helping others? That to me is the definition of spiritual journey, and and that's what each one has to ask, whether it is to your parents, whether it's to your brothers, whether it's to your sisters, neighbors, whatever the question, whatever you define yourself as, right? The question is how are you achieving it?
Hello, sir. My name is Vijayata. I wanted to ask you, in the start, you mentioned that you switched your choice from chemical engineering to computer sciences, but you were very young back then. How would you say, when should a person, is there a time that one should stop taking decisions like those? Or I want to ask if there's a time that those kind of career changing or maybe life changing decisions one should be careful in taking, would they be considered rash, or they are like fine if you are passionate about it?
So let me give you my personal examples of life, right? One is, let's say, to me, going from chemical engineering to computer science was not a very big decision. Um, I think the harder decision, for example, was what I call as different pivots of life. Okay. When I decided that I didn't want to build any more companies and I was going to dedicate my life to my foundation and philanthropy, that was actually a bigger decision to make, because that decision involved my own identity, right? My identity was, before that, my identity was the CEO. Okay. My DNA, right? Everything was all around my companies. So now, if you are not doing that, even today, when people ask me, what do I do? And I say, I run a foundation, half the people think I'm unemployed. Okay. Right? People don't really understand what I'm doing, right? Even sometimes your own parents don't understand. My mom thinks that I don't do work. She tells people I'm retired. Okay, well, actually, I'm more working hard sometimes than when I was actually building a company. But to her, I'm retired because I'm not earning money. My point is that you gotta have. So that was one pivot in life. Then even if I take what I did last year to go to Stanford, that was a big pivot. Okay, I lived in Houston. I never left home. I am now going to Palo Alto. I got a new apartment. I lived a new life. I went as a student. I had my backpack on. You know, that was a huge identity challenge again. I'm sitting next to undergraduates. I still remember what I call as my first day of class. I go there and I'm like, first of all, the question is, do I belong here? I had what I call as, the imposter syndrome, right? I may not belong here. Can I even ask a question and will people think I'm dumb, right? You have all these fears in you, right? I mean, there was no shortage of, I didn't have to take that risk, right? If I didn't want to challenge myself. So I can give you plenty of examples in life where you have to pivot. And when you pivot, that's where your growth is. Your growth lies in change. Okay. Your growth lies in accepting new things. I think if you do it carefully, that is, you will have a much enriching journey, right? There are people who are, for example, MDs who go and become a doctor, then they come back and they want to become an academics, they want to go back and start a entrepreneurship, then they go back and do something completely different, right? And those are the people that actually you meet who are, I think, very inspirational because they are not willing to follow your traditional life path. They have taken the risk, they have successfully navigated from one phase of life to another phase of life. And I think that courage that you should have, that courage, when you can develop on your own abilities, you will have a very different life.
Any other question from the audience?
So you have been to this entrepreneur journey, and now you are doing this philanthropy things. So after being an successful entrepreneur and as in philanthropy, you are seeing things happening. Like how does it feel like at that stage and now?
This is harder. Probably more harder than actually earning money. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, philanthropy is much more harder to do it right. I mean, if you want to, I mean, many people have this notion that when you want to write a check, you just write a check and go and play golf every day, but that's not the real philanthropy. I think the real, so answer to your question is, in many ways, satisfaction is better now, right? There's a lot of satisfaction in that. They are both journeys, but in different dimensions.
Any further questions from the audience? If not, I would like to ask one.
Sure, go for it.
So, what keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated?
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, motivation is internal, right? I mean, I don't know that there is one particular thing that I would say that motivates me. I mean, in the sense that I enjoy what I do. I have goals in my mind. I want to get up in the morning every day and do something different, and that's all I need.
So this is the last question for this session. So what message would you like to convey to the students and the faculties, and their role, what role it has to be played when we are together in this exciting journey with Mehta Family Centre for Engineering and Medicine?
Ultimately, like I said in the speech earlier, my goal is, my hope and my dream is that both the students and the faculty here are full of passion to make a difference in the world. Do something that will make you proud, something that will make the society better, right? Ultimately, that's our goal. How do we live a better planet than the one we came in? If we can achieve that, we have really achieved success.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahul Mehta. Let's please thank Mr. Rahul Mehta for his invaluable time. And I thank the audience as well for your patient listening and such good questions. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.
सबको ऑफ करो, इसको बंद करो।
Sorry, the dinner would have started by now, I assume. So, if everyone could just move towards the food court. Thank you.
Let's meet tomorrow. Yes. Yes, I think. Which more